Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in the Long Beach area today, and we are joined by Heather Rosenberg. She is with the U.S. Green Building Council Los Angeles, and its recently launched Building Resilience LA project. And it's a very interesting topic that I want to delve into, because I think about LA, I think about California, and I think about how we've been forced to be resilient in a lot of different ways.
Yes.
What exactly, in your mind, is resilience?
It's a great question. I think people are defining it different ways. The different definition I like is the capacity to adapt and thrive in the face of stressors and shocks. And I use the term specifically stressors and shocks because it's not just the big headline getters, the earthquakes, the floods, the fire and brimstone. It's the underlying things that make us vulnerable. So looking at how can we prepare for those big events in ways that alleviate underlying stressors, everything from poverty, crumbling infrastructure, environmental degradation, income inequality, public health issues. I mean, we can do it all if we take a systemic approach.
And the reality is that when disaster does strike, our buildings are impacted, and so I like the kind of play on words. We're building resilience, both structurally and psychically, maybe is one way to say it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to talk about LA.
Yes.
And the reason is, for better or for worse, we were really hopeful about an El Nino coming this year. Northern California did pretty well. They got some good rain. We did not. We didn't.
That's true.
And so we know that we are now in our 5th year of drought. Is this a single event of disaster? No. But it does feel as if this is heading us towards a disaster.
Yeah.
And so talk to us about how building resilience can play into this kind of longer term disaster.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, drought is one of those funny words. Is that a disaster? Is that a stressor?
Right.
It's really both.
Right,
it's
well
both.
stated.
It just depends on your time frame. It's both of those things. And so what we're trying to do is look at water, all aspects of water. To create a resilient water system in LA really requires rethinking our infrastructure. And
Good luck to us.
And I think it's possible, and I think that creates some real opportunities. I think the city of LA and the county and many other organizations are working hard on this. It's going to require funding, absolutely, but a lot of the strategies are simple and passive, and by simple I don't mean it's not as complicated as brain surgery, because it probably is, but it's also getting our local water into the ground when it does come, rethinking how we use our river or how we interact with our river.
The LA River,
LA River,
which is right near here in Long Beach.
Absolutely. So we have an infrastructure system around water in Los Angeles that basically assumes that water is bad. Take it, and any drop of rain that falls anywhere, any amount of wastewater or runoff or anything created in the city or in the region, we need to get it out into the ocean as quickly as possible.
And why did that happen? The LA River in the 30s and 40s was flooding constantly.
Absolutely.
And so it was a different time.
It's a good example of solving for one thing at a time.
Right.
The river is a really good way of dealing with floods. It's not a good way of supporting recreation or habitat or water conservation or human health or anything else. So if we rethink how do we solve all of those things at once with water, we're looking at increasing green space, we're looking at infiltrating water, we're looking at capturing gray water, we're looking at reusing stormwater, we're looking at
building resilience.
Right, all of those things.
Because I have read that if a certain type of earthquake hits in Central California or above, we could be without water for 6 months.
Yeah,
or at least water from the Delta and otherwise.
Absolutely. So it's all about local water. So the more we can replenish our local groundwater, the more we can rely on captured and treated water and use water as many times as possible. Those are all strategies for at a regional perspective in a long-term way. And getting there creates jobs, getting there creates human health, getting there, we can do it in a way where we're just, storing water in big fortresses and, creating more
Dams.
big, ugly infrastructure, right? But we also can do it in a way that's beautiful, that connects people, that gives people the opportunity to interact.
And let's talk about connectedness.
Yeah.
Because when there is a single event,
Yes.
resilience is critical.
Yes.
I think about Katrina, I
Yes.
think about Sandy.
Yes.
What have you learned from those single events, those single disasters in
A lot.
terms of, yeah, please.
Yeah, I mean, I expected when I started down this path and started to look deeply at disaster that it would be scary and depressing. And, you know, I kind of went there reluctantly. As an Angelino, growing up here, you know, we deal with earthquakes
Right.
by trying to not think about them.
Right.
But going deep and not just understanding those two particular disasters, but you know, in Fukushima, Japan,
Right.
understanding that one, and also historical disasters, some things become really clear. And actually, it kind of reaffirmed my faith in humanity in a lot of ways, because what happens is that people come together and they rise to the occasion. And Rebecca Solnit has a book called A Paradise Built in Hell, where she actually argues that for some people, the experience of going through these disasters becomes joyful.
I understand.
Because
I do.
because suddenly you have an
Community.
opportunity to connect, to have a voice, to be empowered to make change, and to have a sense of purpose, and that's very powerful.
So as part of your project, are you looking to pre-build that
Yes.
community?
Yes, absolutely. So the more people are connected to each other, the more people know their neighbors, the more people know who's going to need help and who can provide help, and have an experience of working together, the faster they can get into gear and say, these are the things that need to happen right away.
So right now, your sub-project, I'll call it, is working on 2 items.
Yeah.
It's a guide,
Yeah.
Building Resilience Guide, and a model project in South Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Tell us about those.
Yeah, so, well, first I'll talk about the guide, which is really directed at building owners and operators, the more traditional audience of the Green Building Council,
Sure.
the LEED projects and all of those. That's a community that has demonstrated that we can make change through leadership standards and recognition of early adopters and trying out new strategies. And so we're targeting those communities or those organizations to be sort of epicenters of resilience within their community, not just look at what's happening on their property, but how they might work with their employees.
I see.
And who may or may not live nearby, and also with their neighbors, and forge strong relationships and take a leadership role in their buildings, on their site, in their business continuity plans and their emergency management plans, but also in things like promoting health every day.
What about the South Los Angeles project?
We are working with an organization called SCOPE, which is
Okay.
a community-based organization in South LA, right near the corner, the intersection of Florence and Normandy, which you'll recall is where
Sure.
the Rodney King incident.
Right.
Was
Where we
really-
needed resilience.
Where we really needed resilience, and
Right.
they have their history goes back to right at that moment and was founded out of the idea that the community needs an opportunity to organize itself and speak for
So
itself.
what's the project?
And so we are working with them. They're in a former fire station that's owned by the city, and we're looking at how do we convert this building to be a resilient center for the neighborhood. So everything from can we do with their space, like providing more job training, and which they already do, but really
Right.
create a more comprehensive program and use the space for job training and small business support, and also have it survive or serve in an emergency
And
functions
survive.
and survive.
Right.
You know, it's not going to be the place where you go if there's a major earthquake, but
understand.
it could be a place to provide emergency cooling center as we look at more and more heat days, and that population is particularly vulnerable to all kinds of other things, and really just have all of those community functions where people can really
Is this off the
connect. The building is off the ground, and we're raising funds, and we're bringing in partners of all kinds, and we'd love to get more people involved. And
How can we get involved?
The best place is to connect with the U.S. Green Building Council's Los Angeles chapter. Our email or our website is usgbc-la.org.
It's on the screen.
It's on the screen.
Her
Wonderful.
name is
And-
Heather Rosenberg. She is with the U.S. Green Building Council LA. She is heading up a project called Building Resilience Los Angeles. My name is Brad Pomerance, and you're watching Charter Local Edition.